All right, what's going on, brothers? Hopefully everything's going good. Hopefully everything's going well for you guys. All right, brothers, as you can see, it says history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Uh, I believe they credit Mark Twain for that. I'm not sure, hell, you know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point being, brothers, is I do agree with this sentiment. People say, but history does repeat itself. There's nothing new under the sun. It's nothing new under the sun, brothers. I'm so thankful to the Most High for blessing me to able to see that. But anyway, brothers, wise men of the past saw it as well. Men way before me, probably way sharper than me, and there'll be many men during me, as I'm walking and living and breathing now, and there'll be many men after me as well. I'm not nobody special, brothers. None of us is one of a kind. Although people like to think they are, but you're not. You're just one amongst many. And that's a good thing to that, brothers. The good thing about being one amongst many is that you're relatable. What's that old saying? Smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from others. I got. I don't think my this guy is a mechanic I know. I don't think he made that saying up, but he was the first person that I can recall I heard say that. I was like, oh, that's pretty, and it's pretty. It's definitely very true. You know, definitely very true. But anyway, uh, anyway, with that, brothers, this is what I want to say. I'm getting sidetracked. When I see, I'm just saying me, brothers. When I look on the social media streets, as they say, I'm not seeing nothing new. I'm just seeing reruns. And yeah, that's old. I remember hearing the elders of my day say that. And you know what? They wasn't lying. I didn't understand it back then, but they was not lying. See, we in the so-called black community, we have lost that connection with the elders. We really have. I'm talking about wise elders, elders who are sharp, elders who can guide us to somewhere. Yeah, you look up to the drug dealers and the OGs, you look up to them, but a lot of them are not going to lead you nowhere. They're not. They're not going to lead you to nowhere. But anyway, with that being said, what I was going to say, yeah, I remember wise people of the past, elders of yesteryear, was telling us some of the same things. Brothers, I remember my grandmother, may God rest her soul, was telling me they had dope pushers in her day. I'm thinking like, damn, I'm thinking, I'm thinking, man, my grandmother tripping. I'm like, man, you don't stop the press. I ain't say that to her, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, grandma tripping. No way they had. But I would get older. Cause I love to read. I was reading books, and I come to find out in the so-called black community, they had people selling drugs. A lot of the jazz musicians was buying weed. Uh, they was even doing coke back then too, brothers. Coke, heroin, these things were around. That was pretty rampant. Malcolm X hustled it. Iceberg Slim, Robert Beck, may God rest his soul, Malcolm X as well, partook into these events, into these trappings. And I'm talking about these guys were running in the 30s, the 40s, 50s. You see what I'm saying? So my grandmother wasn't lying, may God rest her soul, but I'm just saying, so it's really nothing new under the sun, brothers. A lot of this stuff is reruns. It really is. It's just reruns. Um, so when you see things like I'm just saying when I see things like as they say the modern woman, which is the modern woman is not new. She's not new, brothers. The woman has been the same since ancient times, man. And how I know that, brothers, you can look at ancient texts describing women who were problematic, blah 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 blah. You can go to the scriptures, as they say. I forget this guy's name, but he said the first red pill book was the Bible. I'm like, yeah, I said that's a good observation, because he does the scriptures do warn you of women, what you will see today, loud, simple, no is nothing. It's a lot of things they do. Those proverbs, we just mentioned some of the proverbs. It's a book called The Folklore of Women. You guys can look that up. They break it down. It just giving like stuff about women. And when you look at that book, when you read that book, you can see like, okay, some people were pandering, Derek Jackson style, and some people were red pill. You have quotes in there where guys were quotes of a woman is worse, a dog is better than a woman because he knows not to bark at his master. Quotes like that. A woman can never put you on the right path. All this type of stuff, man. But anyway, uh, it talks about things. But what I'm trying to say with that book, it's talking about stuff in the ancient times of all different cultures. It kind of put it in this book, and it sounds like exactly what you're seeing today. Black men, so-called black men, other races, saying the same thing today. Even Rome had an ancient uh, a pickup artist. I won't say he was popular, but he had a book about how to deal with women back in ancient Rome. Sounds like the stuff today. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, brothers, you know, you gotta look to the past. For any of you brothers, this is for you brothers. This is not to be the smartest, wisest, sharpest. I said it first, yada yada yada. That's all nonsense. That's all nonsense. I'm just saying for you brothers who want result and you really want to ease your plight in life, look to the past. Look to the past will help you avoid a lot of pitfalls. Look to the past. It's nothing new under the sun. Gold diggers. I think I even did a video about gold diggers. They had a lot of. They had gold diggers back in the 20s, 1900s as well. Even back in ancient times, you know, brothers. Girls getting flued out, as they say, brother. That's nothing new. James Brown was doing that. What's my man name? May God rest his soul, James Brown. Pablo Escobar. They was doing it in the 70s, flying out girls, for sexual purposes, as you guys would say, right? They was doing it. Jack Johnson, that's really how he got in trouble. Bringing a woman over state lines for immoral purposes. Although what he did, he brought them by a train, if I'm not mistaken. But, you see where I'm going with this? Same type of aspect, right? Although I don't think Jack Johnson was tricking or whatever. But anyway, but I don't know. But anyway, the point being, I don't think he was like paying them for sex. I think these were the girls he was with, but I don't know. But anyway, with that being said, brothers, there's nothing new under the sun. Pay attention to the past, brothers. You pay attention to the past, it can help you. Wise men look to the past and navigate the future. All right. Now, as you see here, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Absolutely. But people quickly forget yesteryear. That's actually a proverb in the scripture. It ain't saying it like that. It says like those don't remember what came before them, and I forget. I think it's in Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes. It's a proverb. Those who don't remember before them, so on and so forth. You brothers know. You can look it up. But anyway, yeah, brothers, and that's all you. And people don't learn from history. A lot of people are not real students of history. And what you see the same cycle going and going and going. And I'm going to talk about the so-called black community in particular. Brothers, all this stuff I'm seeing, man, I'm telling you, man, my uncle went through a lot of this stuff, man. May God rest his soul. Before you saw the DDGs of the world going through what they going through, Latrus, you name it, my uncle went through it. These guys were probably weren't even born or just babies. You understand what I'm saying? And if you want to talk about the city girls or the modern day girls, what you want to call them, my aunt would be the precursor to them. To show you that it's nothing new. My aunt would be the precursor to them. I'm telling you, man. My aunt, I bet you can sit my aunt down, and my aunt will give you a play-by-play book of what the girl is gonna do. Why? Because she's been there, she's done it. She's a precursor to them. The Tokyo Tonys of the world, these are older women. Tokyo Tony is an example. Tokyo Tony is like in her 50s, I believe. You understand? Maybe older. So they show you that they was getting down back then, but it's nothing new. Tokyo, I'm just using that as an example. You know, it's nothing new. It's nothing new, brothers. So anyway, brothers, that's really about it right there, brothers. I ain't want to hold you. I just want to let you brothers know. Look to the past, man. Look to the past, man. I'm telling you, wise men always have. I've always heard uh, rumblings, and I ain't gonna say rumblings, but you know, I always heard things, and even read some things that at least indicated. I'm not gonna say this is absolute truth, but at least indicated that a lot of men of power, like presidents, you know, people like that, you know, aldermen or whatever you want to call it, a lot of men of power were students of history. You know, they loved the book of Machiavelli. Machiavelli, it's been rumored that Machiavelli has been read by numerous men of power, from mafia leaders to elected officials across the world. Now you have 48 Laws of Power, right? Uh, Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Tie all three of those books together. You know what they all three have mainly in common? All three of those books uses the past. Machiavelli uses the past of his time. You know, he was using the past to give credence to what he was saying. Like, well, this leader here, a past leader. 48 Laws of Power, that's all he does is use the past. Because that's the only thing you're going to have to reference. You understand what I'm saying? It uses the past. So what that lets you know that wise men look to the past and navigate the future. They always have and they always will. That don't mean you won't make a mistake. You know, because you ain't gonna be able to to know every angle. You know what I'm saying. But it's just a good example to help some of you guys, so you guys can avoid a lot of the pitfalls and a lot of the frustrations. Look to the past, man. Because I guarantee you, there's somebody in your life, especially your so-called black man. A lot of the problems that plays our community, brothers, there's so many examples around you. You're just not paying attention. You're too busy. You know, if you one of those guys, the knuckleheads, that's on you. But it's too much uh, evidence around you. It is ridiculous. It is rampant with evidence. In every so-called black community, man, it is rampant with evidence to show you, like, hey, man, you know, you do this, woo woo, you know. But like I say, people forget it though, and I'm thankful to the Most High that I'm able to rewind. You know, my mind does that a lot. You know, one of my aunts even said that, like, man, she basically said like I had a long memory. Like, man, she was like, man, you remember a lot of stuff. Cause I bring something up to them, they be like, oh man, I forgot about that. I forgot about woo woo. But that's just how my mind works. But I'm not the only one like that. But it's many more men sharper and wiser than me. You know, I'm like I said, I'm just a man just trying to live my life and avoid a lot of the pitfalls. And I know I will have them, and I know I will have obstacles. But I want to have as less as possible. So that's it back there, brothers. You know, look to the past. Wise men look to the past and navigate the future. You're not one of a kind. You're one amongst many. I'm out. Peace.